Michael, you know I know your last name. Lucchesi. I should have known. Go ahead, Mr. Hastings. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Ken Hastings. I'm with the Mason Springs Conservancy, but I'm speaking strictly for myself here this evening. Given the Planning Commission you had to start with, there's no question about how the outcome was that gave you the comp plan and tiers map that are a total wreck. Certainly some of the Planning Commission members bear responsibility for this. Certainly when Bob Mitchell expressed concern that the citizens didn't really need to see in open session what the Planning Commission was doing, that was not the right kind of comment for a planning commissioner to make. And he said, as far as John Q. Public not knowing what is going on, John Q. Public has had an opportunity to read what the state's bill was as much as anyone else. This was especially strange to hear, given that his colleague, Mr. Joe Richardson, who at that time was Planning Commission co-chair, had allegedly read the bill and had it all twisted up. He said, I believe the legislation was intended to ensure that Tier 4 was given as much opportunity as possible to maximize property values. He also said, as long as agriculture conservation allows large lot development, it is eligible for Tier 3. Neither of these bizarre statements are supported by the law as far as people who have actually read the law. And who could ignore Mr. Grasso's biases when he said, I don't pay much attention to them, meaning environmentalists anymore, because they're all the same. Also, I much prefer to take a position in favor of the landowner. I've always been a landowner, a property guy, and I can't help it. So the handwriting was on the wall, and it comes as no surprise then that the BGI majority on the Planning Commission, Mr. Grasso, Ms. Jones, Mr. Mitchell, and Mr. Richard, have helped scuttle the PPA, the PDA, the TDR, the PDR, and giving you a BGI plan and a BGI map that don't pass muster with anyone. You hired Warren Rich to put a lipstick on this pig that the BGI Planning Commission gave you, and he failed. Actually made the pig look even uglier than it was to start with because of the way it was done and the way the questions were answered. Now the BGI has convinced Commissioners Collins, Davis, and Rucci to vote against the PPA. Joe Richard has announced that he was always in favor of PPA from the very beginning. And that's part of the minutes from one of the recent meetings. So it's time to start all over. All you need is one more vote, one more person not chained to BGI to stand up, and you can start repairing the damage. At least 3 of you can. So I'd like Colin and Commissioner Rucci to do that. The old white guys in this community are taking a beating right now because of the way things have gone, and I think it's time for maybe one old white guy to stand up and help the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hastings.